Goodbye was supposed to mean the closure. That's what she told herself when she whispered it into the space between them. She had practiced the word for weeks, rolling it around in her mouth like a bitter pill, convincing herself that when she said it, the weight of them, their almost, their cracks, their late night silences that scream louder than arguments, would finally fall away. But she didn't feel lighter. She felt hollow. The night after she left, she sat on the edge of her bed with her phone glowing in her hand. Her thumb hovered above his name the way it had 1,000 times before. She told herself not to call, not to text, not to cave, but her body betrayed her mind. Her chest tightened, her throat ached, her fingers trembled with the urge to hear his voice. Because endings aren't clean. They don't pack themselves neatly into boxes you can tape shut and hide in the attic. They spill, they linger, they become shadows in the every empty room. Sleep never came easy after that night. The silence of her apartment, once comforting, now felt suffocating. She kept expecting him to burst through the door like he always did when she was upset. Eyes stormy, voice soft, hands warm, but he didn't. And the more she waited, the more she realized that the goodbye she gave him was permanent. Except in her heart, it was not. He was still everywhere, in the half-played playlist they built together, in the sweatshirt he left draped over her chest, the smell of the coffee and rains that clerks to the mornings they once shared. Every stranger became a cruel reminder. A boy laughing too loudly at a cafe made her turn her head. A passing cologne in the grocery aisle made her freeze. It was never him. But her body reacted because her mind could not catch up. Because some love brand themselves into senses, you don't just remember them, you live with them. She told herself she felt because she would wanted distance. Because maybe space would heal the cracks that had become cannons between them, but she wanted now was one more conversation, just one. One more look in his eyes that said, I see you, I know you, you're mine. But she knew better. If she went back, nothing would have changed. He would still love her in fragments, never whole. And she would still ache for the pieces he would not give. That was the cruelest part. He was not bad, he was not unkind, he was not unworthy, he was just unfinished. And she was too. She wonders if he hates her now. Maybe he should. After all, she walked away. But then she thinks about the way he looked at her as she said goodbye, like someone watching a door close slowly, knowing it would not open again. And she isn't sure if hate is possible between two people who once carried each other's heart so carefully. The truth she won't admit out loud is simple. She didn't stop loving him. She stopped, never will. She probably never will. Goodbye was not the end. It was just the moment she realized love is not always enough. Sometimes it's timing. Sometimes it's the weight of everything left unsaid. Sometimes the two souls almost align but don't. She carries him in every new chapter anyway. He's the ghost at the edge of every song, the shadow between the words of every story she writes, the aches behind her smile when someone asks about love. He is her almost, the unfinished story she will carry quietly, even as she lets strangers hold her hand, even as she pretends to move on. Because the truth is, she still searches for him in every new face. She still listens for his laugh in crowded dreams. She still dreams about the way his hand felt on the small of her back, grounding her in a world that always felt too big. She still aches when she thinks about how close they became forever. And that's the cruel thing about love, that that ends with a goodbye. It does not vanish. It lingers. It waits. It aches. And sometimes it ruins every stranger who dares to try and feel like home.